Hello. It's been a little bit. I haven't been able to record because there's been a bunch of issues. And here we are. I need to do something real quick. Oh, I forgot to close that. Everything's kind of in order. I forgot to close the door because it's been a bit too cold usually anymore. In short, there's been a lot of things that have been done. As you can see, I've got a weird looking farm over there. I created this farm off camera, and it has been annoying. I quickly go F4, turn the buttons here. We have villagers here and a zombie here, and it's supposed to be a iron farm, and for the most part it has been productive. I've had some issues with it. To start off with, trying to get the area set to how far the golden field to spawn has been a little bit of a problem. I followed a tutorial online for this, and it was a little bit problematic as some problems hit. Going back in here, when they would bounce into bed, they would proceed to randomly dip their toes like in the zombie's mouth and they would die. So I had to get new villagers for that. After that, I had to deal with the fact that somehow, even after that, they were still being slain by something. So I had to wall this off and light it up. After that, for some reason they just forgot the zombie was there, so I had to change to where there's now a trapdoor here. There's been a lot of issues, a lot of renditions. They died a bunch and annoyed. But this episode we have a lot of stuff to do. Currently what I would like to be able to do is to work on the blacksmith. We have our small little trading area and the area to expand. You can see iron farm's working. Yes, go along. Melt into lava and go in a hopper. So with everything going on, currently there's been a lot of issues and a lot of things randomly happening that's been a problem, such as being too cold. The power didn't go out, thankfully, when it comes down to that, so we've been able to stay at least warm. But my current idea for this is we're going to be using a few different blocks here. The base I would like to be that of a simple stonework block. And I'm taking a little bit of inspiration, of course, off what Minecraft has naturally for this, with the entire blacksmith area. But I want to make it a little bit more advanced than what it was before. So let me just quickly craft up a bunch of these. Okay, so for a very simple aspect of this, there's a bunch of problems when it comes down to regular blacksmiths. And with that, it comes down to the fact of usability and realism, in my honest opinion. As they're fine for the most part, but there's a lot of problems that comes into play with it, with the fact that it is way too small, in my opinion. So with this, it's going to be used to hold all of my ores, which I feel is a great decision. And for the most part, this will also be where I put my primary furnace. So have it like that, if you will. So there's a lot of things to worry about when it comes down to this. So it's a big slow process. So here we are. So in the end, I've been working on this basic idea for a little bit. I've been trying to look online for different wall ideas, and everything I've come across for certain wall ideas has been mostly high palette and textures. So here we are. At the moment, I've been kind of going through this and trying to figure out what to do, and I'm trying to expand my options. So within the meantime, I've been looking at a bunch of other content creators, getting ideas flowing, trying to get things mapped out in my head properly. And in the end, I kind of met myself back up on the Hermitcraft server for inspiration there, and there's been a bunch of unique details and color palettes. I'm impressed, honestly, a lot by most of their abilities to be able to do things like shape the terrain and whatnot, which is one of the reasons why for this world here I've been actually terraforming a lot more. This isn't exactly much to talk about, but over here specifically was one of the biggest terraforming projects I've had. Now of course certain patches have been broken because of mob spawning, but the entire inspiration of having just a giant wheat field in general required a bunch of terraforming. It's been a bit that I've been working on, trying to get better with, and it's one of the reasons why when I started running across a lot when it comes down to trees, like for over here, I've been starting to build very slowly small ones, and I've experimented a little bit differently with here. I've cleaned up the area a little bit, no, not overly much. I've been quite happy with what I've done thus far, which is a rarity to be honest. Usually I don't really feel happy about what I've done, not until much later, because I usually try to do a very large scale build, and in doing so I've never just tried to do a bunch of very small scale builds, and this is one of those times that's why I'm actually trying that. And another thing comes down to it when it comes down to sticking to an idea. It's one of the biggest things I actually see myself having an issue with and other people's having an issue with is the fact of sticking with a general idea, not a guaranteed theme, but an idea. My general theme here has been more of a inventor's world kind of deal, steampunk-ish, if you will. But inevitably that has not exactly stopped me from the entire idea of going off to different build types, as though it is very difficult to see without zooming in. Over here is a basic, very, very basic. We have a little bit of copper up top for a little bit of a colored variation. I would like that to be fully oxidized, but it's not. But inevitably in the end is kind of what we have. So I've been working on that slowly but surely as an idea. So inevitably in the end I'm going slower. I went slower, and my learning of this has been most of the fact that if I rush through things, it proceeds to come out worse. So I was taking a much slower approach. So anybody who's enjoyed this type of building style, please let me know, and please let me know if there's any form of building style you would like to see me do. I'm very interested in experimenting, and I've tried the entire fantasy theme and it hasn't worked out because my general idea of texturing has not exactly been there. When it comes down to terraforming, that's been another issue in basic build premises, as over here I've done a lot of unique terraforming for certain areas, such as the kind of like lake there. But when it comes down to texturing, you can see I've spotted bits and pieces here and there, and I've started working on walling as well, which was done a good while ago. So, with everything set in motion, my entire idea for this episode is to finish the blacksmith, and I have a couple of trading areas for the trading district, which will be used to eventually go out of town. I keep going in and out of the spectator, but around here will be supposed to be a gate-like area that will proceed to wrap around most of the village here. Though this may change, that's one of those things where I'm actually coming to. You gotta stay on certain ideas, and certain ideas, when you're done with them, you just need to scrap them. Such as this. It's not gonna be a wall. Don't build a wall. Don't force it. Just build what you want. It's Minecraft. It's nice. It's fun. So with that, let's quickly get into a time lapse. Okay, so this is what I've gotten this far. Now, it's nothing really to look at, to be honest. I'm trying to experiment a couple different things, different build styles and different uses of items. I haven't really used any of the pale oak that often, and I haven't really used anything of the shelf, so I wanted to experiment with that. Even though it's not very realistic whatsoever, and it would catch on fire instantly, I do think this entire area here is actually kind of pleasant. Now, around here it's a bit simpler, as I wanted to go with a bit more of a simplistic stone feel. But with the entire roofing the way it is, currently there is really nothing inside. Now, I have a little bit to do in back here still, but that is a thing I feel that I need to work on. Think about how I'm going to have a small little cold storage area here. I got this stuff pretty much built, and that's when my ideas kind of came into play. Now, the interior doesn't really have much of anything. If anything, it has nothing to really look at. I tried to experiment with the entire flooring up top and for texture at the bottom. Tried to reverse the texturing. It looks okay. It could be better. But here we are. Now, at the moment we have a lot of different details we can actually go into, but for the most part I feel that this is done. I was experimenting with certain block types. I had to modify this to be a little bit more enclosed to make it to meet up perfectly with the actual forge. Now, for goals with this. With the fact that we have an infinite iron farm so readily available right here, I do want to move in a bunch of chests and store a bunch of ores in here. Now, that is partially for the reason that this is actually going to be a super smelter now. And here there's not enough room right here. But I want to have a bunch of rails, hoppers, and whatnot that will proceed to produce and proceed to bring up a bunch of different resources they smelt. Because the amount of ore you can actually get because of copper, it is something very needed and very handy. I also feel that we'll be doing a bit more than just 3 of these little stalls here in a little bit as well. But for the most part, I do feel we are set to get to the next part of this building. It's going to be much more simplistic. Currently, when it comes down to this, I've also wanted to do a bunch of stalls for buying things. We have merchants, which can be put in here later, being villagers, though last time I did this, they kind of got croaked. Why is it every time I start getting prepared or building, you always rain? And of course, it's not nighttime. It's never nighttime. It's never a thunderstorm. It's always just rain. I swear, if it rains much more, I'm going to have to get a data pack to stop it. So, as it stands, we have 3 primary colors, being that of yellow, blue, and magenta, as it is here. I want a pinkish purple, and this is the best thing we have that I could meet up with. So, magenta it is. We have currently 3. I would like it to be a more of a dotted pattern, where this is more striped potentially. I don't know. We'll see in a minute. Because I do think birch would actually be a bit of a wood type. Now, as a simple question, anybody else encounter the fact that whenever you're going to build, it is instantly raining? Because hopefully no, but the fact is I'm pretty sure that is a yes. So, that is that, I guess. Now, I know I've been doing a bunch of shorter episodes for things, and for this in particular, for the last episode, it didn't equal up being my usual half-hour to an hour episode. Following down certain suggestions as they were at the time period, I've been slowly but surely working on trying to see if I can make shorter episodes. Now, when it comes down to Minecraft, this does become a little bit of an issue. The reason for this, for if you haven't actually made any content, it takes forever and a day to be able to gather resources if you don't have an immense amount of farms. It takes a while to be able to just gather and build in general, so here we are. That's why when I play, and every episode I've done, I always ask, let me know any builds you like to see me build. And that is because it can help try to get community building together and try to get things built. Like this. This entire blacksmith's house I wanted to do, but it's not something that was suggested. There was nothing suggested, and the shorter episodes were. so I've slowly but surely been trying to take into account certain details which people suggested for things. So, as it stands, these are not very important to really build. It's more of a thematic thing, and I feel. No, I know more like, and we start saying I know. I know it's going to be a big deal once I get it all set in, because it's going to actually lead to the outer area over here, where I may have a gate, I might not, but it will actually lead into more of a countryside. Because it's more of a country town of sorts, where there's a bit of dotted places. And over there is going to be the main Copper Kingdom, I have to say, because I don't know how to really put it into context. Yeah, I'm confused on how to put it into context myself. Either way, ignoring minor details such as that, I do have a lot of work to do, so let's see how things get along here. Okay, and now the marketplace is pretty much done, besides putting in potentially villagers, which I'd have to proof this for, which would be annoying. Putting in different type of crops and whatnot that be sold here, maybe fish. And of course, getting this place set up as an a super smelter. So, hop over here with F4. It's not overly large. I need to put some trees around here as well, which is another thing. I got some dirt there I forgot to pick up. But inevitably, this is coming along well. I want to eventually fill this in, at least cover it up. I also want to build something here. I don't know what's going to be here, since we have an iron farm. And I don't know what I'm going to kind of disguise it with. I'm thinking maybe some form of statue. Maybe a giant golem head. Like iron golem head, who knows. But for now, there is something I've been really wanting to play around with. As it stands, we currently have two types of, well, two new additions to Minecraft I haven't touched on. First off, I know we're getting baby mobs here soon to be a little bit more of a thing, unless it's a shrunken down version of the adult form, which is cool and all. But one of the things that I haven't actually played around with the copper golem, and then of course item-wise being the spear. Let's see, where did I put my copper? Did I put it over here? I put it over here, right? Yes. Okay, so if we take a copper block, and we're supposed to have a pumpkin. We've got a pumpkin here. Okay, so carved pumpkin, kind of like all other golem types, which I haven't taken this out. I should really take this out, to be honest, and put something else in its place to have a automatic one. But for now, let's see, let's go here. I'm trying to think. It's the best place to put it. You know what, let's put you here for now. And proceed to take you. There was my shears. Okay, there's that, and copper golem. You can make statues of this. So let's see how this works. Let's see if we put a whole bunch of items in there. Hello? Okay, can you interact with barrels? No, you don't seem to be able to interact with barrels as a job block. Yeah, dude, they're over here. I see you going around, and you're going to... I see, so you're not perfect. Okay, you're not perfect. I want you to tarnish, and I'll get back to you later when I can. So, there's that. Furthermore, we do have the spear. Now, I do have some diamonds over here that I can use. And I would need to make a diamond spear anyways, so yeah, might as well use these. Let's see, now, what was it, diagonally? Yeah, spear. If what I've seen, this is the only, this is the only weapon you can't exactly interact with blocks to break them. Okay. And I'm charging, nothing really happens. Start dipping a little bit. We're slowed. We're done. Okay, and this uses hunger? Yeah. Okay then. Okay. I need a mob. Chickens. That sounds nice. I do have chickens over here, which I can just grab. Because if I have a new a new weapon that I can actually use very effectively, I would love to. Especially with the options that Minecraft has now, with the new mobs that have been introduced within a bunch of things that haven't done, like trial chambers, when we have so much just going for us. Okay, there you are. Let's see if we... How do we... I can't hit you with it, but if I... Okay, we can't physically hit you. Is it because I got something offhand? No. Okay, so we can't hit the chickens with you. We got a pig here. Okay, we do have a little bit farther reach too. Okay, I have a lot of questions with you. Okay, so how are you doing? You're still going at that, and you're still putting them in here, right? Yeah. So you just keep going around checking. And these can oxidize too, from far as I know of. Okay, so we got a lot to work with. I need to clean some things up, but otherwise, as soon as I get a hold of these two places done, these two, well, I might just get rid of them entirely, to be honest, as diagonal houses. But I do want a fountain here, which we can easily do now, actually. So, as things are, I have been slowly but surely working on a bunch of ideas for Minecraft. Now, different series is one of those things that comes up very heavily, and no, this is not something I'm doing just to replace the one I'm currently doing. Wires&Wonders is here to stay. That is what I can guarantee. The mobs I also gotta get. Okay. But no, I'm not replacing Wires&Wonders. Wires&Wonders is fun. I've been enjoying more vanilla build, and even though these two actual build styles here are different, but yet still fairly simplistic, I've greatly enjoyed it. The struggle that I've had with golems here I've enjoyed as well for having such a big issue. So, as it stands when it comes down to an actual fountain, I really want to do a bit of stone, brick, and stone. Because I never really decided what I was going to use with this, and at this point, I'm so close to being done with this place that I really should just decide. And with this being heavily what I'm going to be doing, I need to decide quickly and just stop procrastinating. Because I've been procrastinating mostly because of the entire idea of doing a diagonal build. It's what I want to experiment with, but I'm not exactly ready because I don't have a proper idea for. As I've kind of talked about a little bit beforehand, having a idea for something is easy enough done, but sometimes you just need to stop procrastinating and just do a build. In particular, when it comes down to it, having a general theme or idea for it is good, but I just don't have one. So now, if I can easily do this correctly, at least by what I have mapped in my head, and I've had mapped in my head, shears here, I can actually just quickly remove these because we're supposed to have fancy bits. Okay, as you just seen, I have done a good bit of work here. As you see me build a fountain, which is nothing special, and we have my 2 areas here now for, I just reloaded the game, so some things been going out. This here is for, of course, the cactus. Over there is for them, but I decided to move those. Inevitably, I will be moving the farm, which is over here. I'll mostly just be getting rid of it entirely. Otherwise, I would like to do something still here, and I've been using it for currently dripstone, because I would like to get some regular dripstone, not the blocks. And I can buy those using with emeralds. But overall, I've been working on this for a good bit now, and I have to say thank you for watching this episode of Wires and Wonders. Like, comment, subscribe, you will soon let me know anything you'd like to see me build. And I hope to see you in another video, so goodbye.